Good evening and welcome to the special Vote 2014 edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight's show is a debate. We will hear from candidates competing for Arizona's Congressional District 7. As with all of Arizona Horizon's debates, this is not a formal exercise. It's an open exchange of ideas, an opportunity for give and take between candidates for one of the state's most important offices. As such, interruptions, interjections, they're allowed, provided that all sides get a fair shake, and as always, we will do our best to see that that happens. Congressional District 7 is an urban district covering parts of Phoenix, Glendale, and other valley communities. It's a majority-minority district currently represented by Ed Pastor, who is retiring. Tonight we talk to three candidates running to represent District 7. They are, in alphabetical order, Libertarian Joe Cobb, an economist, former State Democratic Representative Ruben Gallego, and independent candidate Jose Peñalosa, a local attorney. Each candidate will have 1 minute for opening and closing statements. Earlier, we drew numbers to see who goes first, and that honor goes to Joe Cobb.
Good evening. I'm Joe Cobb. I'm the Libertarian Party candidate here in the 7th Congressional District. I'm running for Congress because I want to change America's immigration system. I think that we need to completely open up the immigration quota system, eliminate the quotas. I would give a work visa to any person that comes to the United States to a legal border station, passes a background check, passes a health check, and asks for a work visa. I think that America needs more young workers. I think that the current quota system in immigration completely strangles the American economy, as well as committing a tremendous injustice to so many families and so many people. We need more young workers. Social Security is going to strangle to death and go broke if we don't have more young workers, and so I want to emphasize that. I'm also, I think, the only candidate at the table who's determined and pledged to vote against war.
All right, thank you very much. For the next opening statement, we turn to Ruben Gallego.
Thank you. I'm proud to be the Democratic nominee for Congressional District 7. I am more proud to have the opportunity to go and fight for this district. I, like many people in my district, did not grow up in the best of situations, but through the help of good programs, a good education, a strong family, I was able to go to college on scholarships. And even while there, I joined the military, served my country in the Marines in Iraq, and today it pains me to see that we are slowly getting ourselves involved again in Iraq in a very dangerous pathway. So I want to go to Iraq. I wanted to go and assure that our men and women do not find themselves again in a situation like I found myself in by being their voice in Congress. Please vote for me, Ruben Gallego. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Jose Peñalosa for our final opening statement.
Thank you very much, Ted, for the invitation. Good evening. My name is Jose Peñalosa. I'm the independent candidate for Congress. I'm an attorney, and that is my profession. In the last 23 years, I've served this community, providing the American dream to folks that live in this community. And the purpose of my campaign is to extend that opportunity to the folks, just like my parents provided that for me. And what does that mean? It means the opportunity and security to study. It means the security and opportunity to develop your own business. But more importantly, it means to deliver on immigration reform. And as an immigration lawyer for over 23 years, I'm the person to do that. I'm very excited tonight to announce that I have the support of a broad coalition. Representative Lydia Hernandez, Representative Catherine Miranda, community activist and Pastor Warren Stewart Jr. I'm also excited that I reached out to my friends on the Republican side, Congressman Trent Franks, Congressman Paul Gosar, and I'm especially excited to announce this evening I have the endorsement of Senator John McCain. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. Let's get this started. Joe, we'll start with you. What are the district's most pressing needs?
Well, as I said in my opening statement, I think that the immigration problem is probably the most serious thing on the table right now. I think that the current system of immigration, which was put into the United States law in the 1920s, when the Ku Klux Klan was very, very active, and Congress just rolled over and adopted that kind of restricted racist policy. We need to open that up. There's no reason not to have open immigration, fair immigration, and to allow people to reunite with their families, but especially we need more young workers. I think that's the most pressing issue.
Most pressing issue for this particular district?
There's several issues, but immigration being one of them. We do need the president to move on deferred action for our adults here, not just dreamers. But two, we need to reinvigorate and reinvest in education, especially K through 12 and college. The cost of college is being outstripped, has outstripped inflation for a couple years. It's making it much more difficult for people of modest means to go to college, to work their way out of poverty. And we're going to have to start fixing that because it's going to create a huge chasm when it comes to income inequality.
Most pressing needs for this district. What do you see?
Immigration reform, Ted, and quite frankly, this has been ground zero for immigration enforcement and here in Central Phoenix. And my plan is this, is that when I'm in Congress, to form the group of 9 here with our congressmen, and that's why I reached out to Congressman Gosar and Franks to do that. I've also been endorsed by Senator McCain and also to get that done. Because why? I'm a practicing immigration lawyer. I worked before the Department of Homeland Security and the courts. I worked with USCIS. I know the changes that must be done in order to have an effective system.
If you were in Congress, would you vote for the Senate bill that Senator McCain was very much a part of?
If I was in Congress, what I would do is bring the bill to the floor. First, we have to go to committee, and committees need to be heard out. And the Republicans have every opportunity and right to be heard out. And it needs to start in committee: Judiciary, Immigration, Department of Homeland Security. And there has to be the opportunity to make amendments on that bill. That amendments that meet our national security interests and also the interests of our humanity and compassion for our fellow human beings.
The bill as it stands, would you vote for it?
No, I would not, because it needs to be worked on, and that's what the House needs that opportunity to get done.
Would you vote for that
Yes.
bill? Why?
It's a good compromise. Right now, the Republican Congress is holding hostage the rest of the comprehensive immigration bill. That is a bill that has been compromised over and over again. It's not the best bill, but it's what we should try to get through right now. The labor community, the business community, our clergy worked out in a bipartisan manner. Let's get it done and let's pass it.
If you represented this district, you were in the House and you were presented with that bill, yay or nay?
I would definitely vote for the existing bill because the existing bill might be the only thing we're going to get. I'm not clear that the Republicans will grant any hearings. The Republican Party is completely gridlocked on this issue. And my opportunity in Congress, because I'm not a Republican, is that I could work with that small group, maybe a third, maybe half of the Republicans that believe in a free market, free economy, and open immigration. But they're held hostage by the fact that they're a member of the Republican caucus, just like Rubin would be held hostage as a member of the Democratic caucus. If you're a member of the 2 big parties, you're going to be stuck in the gridlock. You cannot escape it. So
exactly
only
correct.
Jose
Why
and
you
I
need an
have a
independent.
chance. But a libertarian would be something that the Republicans would find intriguing. Even now, the Republicans are afraid of us because they're afraid we're taking too many of their people away.
I was going to say, intriguing is an
I can
interesting
take
way to
them
put it.
all away and unite them with the Democrats and pass repeal of the quota system. Now, the comprehensive, so-called comprehensive immigration, that's a trap. Anything comprehensive is a trap because it bogs things down in too many issues.
Comprehensive immigration reform a trap to you?
No, it's a pathway to normalize a lot of our immigrants in this country, to give them an opportunity to raise their families, to take them out of the shadows. Let's do it. Let's take it. It's not perfect. We could keep working it over years, but we need to get something passed. Let's be realistic about this.
And that's why going to the House has every opportunity to do that, and the Republican majority has a right to have this bill heard in committee just like it was in the Senate. And that's what I'm proposing. And once we have a compromise, then we vote on the bill. But to vote on a bill just like that is inappropriate, as much as I support the bill in of itself. But the House has to have that opportunity. My colleagues talk about their work in immigration. They have really never been to court, Ted. They don't know the process and how this works. They don't know about the process of compromise. They don't know about the process of what we need to do. For example, if we were to eliminate what's called the hardship bars, overnight, over 3 million people would be able to immigrate through their family members. Something so simple that can be done with the experience of a lawyer coming in and saying, this is what we need to do.
The art of compromise.
I have a history of doing that. I was in leadership with the Democratic Caucus when we got Medicaid expansion. And that was through a Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican governor. That got more than 200,000 people affordable health care, people that could never afford health care. So the art of compromise is something that I've specialized in. There's a time to compromise, there's a time to fight. My 4 years in the legislature, in leadership, really taught me how to do that.
Back to your opening statement regarding immigration. Should there be any limits placed on immigration?
Only the limits imposed by getting a background check so we know who is coming into the U.S., health check to make sure we don't have people with diseases and other problems coming into the U.S. But if they're young and healthy and have a clean background, they should be admitted and given a work visa. And, I would say unlimited time. I don't care. We need these people. These are excellent, good working people. We want more of these people in the United States. I do.
Illegal immigration, some say, and they say it very loudly, is illegal. They are not here authorized. It is an illegal activity. How do you respond?
I respond to that first is that really, as many folks say, is that these people come here seeking a better opportunity like my ancestors did. And whether some came here legally or illegally is irrespective of this. Our judicial system is based upon compassion, and it's based upon our fellow man and helping them, her out. Now, the statutes, if we're going to get legal about it, it is a violation of federal law to enter this country without inspection, without a visa, punishable. And right now, the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Attorney's Office, effectively has a program that stops that. Prosecution in the Federal District Court out of Yuma and in Tucson. But the bigger issue is this, is that when the folks are good, we also understand that many of these people come from families, Ted. We also understand there's innocent children involved. I do a lot of work with the Dreamers here in Arizona, and I advocate for them, I bend affairs with them, and I represent them pro bono. And I know their parents are looking for peace and security tonight, and just like the employers are, and just like this community. And that is why something needs to be done as soon as possible. Mr. Gallego has been around for 4 years supporting President Obama since he's been in the Arizona legislature. And during that time period, he hasn't said anything about the 2 million deportations that President Obama has accomplished.
Let's hear him say something now.
Well, you know that's false. I actually have been on radio shows where I have said that that is a bad policy. I have asked for a stop of the deportations. I have actually issued editorials both in the Huffington Post and other written places.
But you've only done that since you've been a candidate, Mr. Gallego. Be sincere with everybody.
No, that's not true.
You did not do that before.
I'm sorry, that's
While
not
I'm helping
true.
people in the jail.
You and I were
I'm
actually in
helping
press
families,
conferences
Mr.
together
Gallego.
while I was actually a state house.
When I'm helping people
you
in
and I
the
were
jails
outside
and
of
helping
ICE together.
families.
Okay, hold on. We can't have you talking over.
Well, you and I were outside of ICE together asking for people
You only
to stop
showed
doing
up
it.
for a photo op. I was there to do the real work.
As I was saying, I was there. I have been demanded the deportation stopped. I did it even before there was even a congressional race. And look, I'm going to continue doing it. Fact is, I've asked for the president to stop these deportations and to give immediate relief to these families, and I'll continue doing that.
You mentioned, please.
It's not a crime to come into the United States in an airport with a tourist or a student visa and to stay longer than the term of that visa. It's not a crime. It's not even a misdemeanor. So it's not an illegal immigration. Only the people that actually walk across the border and don't enter at a legal border station, as I would allow and ask them to do, only those people have committed a small infraction. And even them are only subject to deportation.
It's
not a crime.
Again, critics will say any kind of path to citizenship equals amnesty.
Yeah, Frank Luntz, the Republican pollster, invented that whole concept back around 2004. He said, hey, you Republicans, run against the immigrants. Let's call them illegals. Don't say undocumented, which is true. Illegal is not true, but that's the Republican slogan, and we shouldn't use it.
The idea that, again, any kind of path to citizenship equals amnesty for those who are here unauthorized.
That is incorrect. What it equals is opportunity, an opportunity for business to be successful, opportunity for children to be successful and have security here, opportunity for business. But for the individual, it entails this: coming forth and taking biometrics, applying, passing civics tests, paying back taxes if that is necessary, Ted.
But
also,
I have to stop you. I have to stop you because you initially said that you would work and the Republicans control the House and they should have their opportunity to put amendments. You realize that most of the people you would be dealing with consider any pathway to citizenship equaling amnesty.
Well, you see, if you don't have that discussion, in my profession, I'm used to going to court and you're the judge. You're going to listen to me, you're going to listen to Mr. Gallego and Mr. Cobb. That's called due process. And if we don't have that system in the House where committees have the opportunity to review these bills and vote, and then have a vote that reflects the interests of this country, then the system doesn't work. So the Senate bill must be heard. And that's the reason, because some folks don't want to allow that process to take place, why the bill is held up.
And some would say that the system isn't working all that well right now because of the partisan divide. How are you going to go to Washington and change things?
Well, when it comes to immigration reform, the partisan divide is going to be there. The Republicans are not going to let comprehensive immigration reform come to the floor. And Mr. Penalosa aside, working as hard as he is going to do it, it's not going to change anything. Some of the persons that he has mentioned that are supporting him were also the most ardent supporters of SB 1070, and are still supporters of SB 1070. They're not suddenly going to allow this bill to come through while the Democratic president is there to allow comprehensive immigration reform. In the meantime, what the president needs to do is to give relief to these parents, to family members, people that have no criminal history, no serious criminal history.
You should have told them when he was president in 2009 that, Mr. Gallego.
No serious criminal history,
You have been
and allow them
complicit
to have
in 2
deferred
million
action.
deportations. Admit the truth.
You know,
You've been pictured at the White House with him at the Christmas dinner while people in this community are suffering, and I'm on the street helping them out. How are you going to look them in the face and tell them that, Mr. Gallego?
Actually, I have no problem. I've always spoken to the president honestly and to other Democrats. I've always said we should stop these deportations, and I've also been one of
That's not true.
I've also been one of the fighters of the state also against some of the laws that are trying to really hurt the Latino community. And you're proud to take these endorsements from supporters of SB 1070 and even SB 1062.
Just like when you went to
should
that
take
hated party
then.
with Fife Symington, who was anti-immigrant and who was against the MLK holiday, and where you took that picture sticking out your tongue. That same thing you're talking about?
He did mention that you have some endorsements from folks who did support 1070 and do support 1062. How do you respond to that?
I respond to that is that, look, well, first, we're Americans. And second, the thing is this, is that when I work with people every day in my law practice, I work with Republicans, Democrats, and whoever. And we're there to find solutions, to find commonality, and get things done for the better interest of this country. So I'm never going to find that perfect person, that something that I agree with him or her all the time. I don't even find that with my spouse and my children. So I have to reach out and, for the betterment of this state and this nation, work with other people toward the art of compromise. That's what this is about.
So the people in this district would be impressed to know that Trent Franks supports you.
That's correct. The Republican people in this district to know that I have that commonality.
Okay.
And they're also impressed to know the Democratic Latino folks who I deal with every day in my office will be really impressed to know that Senator McCain supports me, and he knows I'm the point man on immigration more than Mr. Gallego or Mr. Cobb.
We have to move on here. I want to get to economic development because what does this district need as far as economic development is concerned, and what can you do in Congress to help?
We need jobs. This district, the whole of city of Phoenix, all of Arizona needs greater economic growth. Economic growth is stimulated by government only when government gets out of the way of private entrepreneurs who create jobs. Jobs are not created by government. Jobs are not even subsidized by government. I think that the best thing the federal government can do is to reduce the regulations, the excessive regulations. The Environmental Protection Agency is threatening to shut the whole state of Arizona down now. And I think that we should put an end to that. Congress has the power if it would act. I don't think the Democratic Party is interested in that. I think the Democratic Party is zealously in favor of the Environmental Protection Agency and all of its regulations. I think that what we need to do, in fact, is to stimulate the economy by tax cuts. I know that sounds hackneyed, but it's true that taxes and regulations are the two things that will kill economic growth and jobs.
Economic growth in this district. Again, from Washington, what can you do?
Well, reauthorization of the transportation budget is really important. There's a lot of infrastructure money there that should be coming back to Arizona that we've been largely missing, as well as raising the gas tax because we haven't done that in a while, and now you see the effect on crumbling roads. Helping bring more money back for light rail, finishing out our system would be extremely helpful in trying to create a very cosmopolitan and strong downtown that would bring more jobs, as well as investing in college education, TGen, bringing some more research grants. That's the kind of things that we could do in Congress that would actually be helpful to this area.
Critics will say that government jobs aren't real jobs. How do you respond to that?
Well, I was a government employee when I was United States Marine Corps. I consider that a real job. And I think that's just a very quick, nice little thing that political pundits say, but they pay the bills. There's police officers and teachers that just are servants to the community. And more importantly, their spending spurs the economy.
Do you think government jobs are real jobs, and should we see more of those jobs in Arizona, in your district?
Well, the essential jobs, of course, of law enforcement, public health and safety are real jobs because those are the folks that we need, absolutely, in order to sustain and to have the infrastructure of our government. But outside of that, that's where the question, is government overbloated? Do we have too many administrators, too many bureaucrats? And obviously the answer is yes, because there's always efficiencies that can be done. But the real issue is this: I'm the only candidate here who's run a business for 23 years, Ted. 23 years, my own law practice. I have employees, I make decisions, I pay taxes, I fight the IRS, and I manage people. And I know that people in this community, 57% of the community, Latinos in this state, are private small business folks. We have immigration reform, it's going to flourish. And you know what? It happened under President Clinton because he was the benefactor of the Reagan amnesty. And this community flourished in the mid-90s and in the late 90s.
You want to respond to that? The idea that the community flourished under what are, back then, Republican principles of cutting taxes, cutting regulation.
No, the Latino community flourishes when we invest in them. It is true, though, if you do bring comprehensive immigration reform and you bring these people out of the shadows, the economy will flourish. You're going to bring people that are right now putting their money under their couches and in their mattresses. You're going to be able to give them creditworthiness so they could buy businesses, expand businesses, as well as buy homes. That would actually be very helpful to the economy. But what we need to do is actually reinvest in the Latino community. Right now, the cost of college has outstripped inflation so much so that a Latino right now that's trying to save money for college, it's going to be extremely difficult by the time their kids are 18. And not just Latinos, but any working class family. And if you can't educate your kids, it's going to be very difficult for them to move them into middle class.
New FAA flight rules are affecting your district. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, once again, the thoughts about this is that the new FAA rules, there wasn't due process at that. And what's the appropriate process, Ted? There were not community meetings. Folks were not aware of that, the opportunity to speak with the FAA officials. They did not have the opportunity to speak with their congressmen, the opportunity to speak with U.S. senators. And this is going back to the issue. When one party controls something and people are not heard, these are the grievances. And so the FAA must, as a federal administration association, they must listen to the public and they must make adjustments. And throughout the United States and different airports, the FAA listens to communities and makes adjustments. San Diego has a rule that there's no departures and there's no landing from 12 to 6. So the flight path can go back to the way it was before, and that's what worked.
What do you think the FAA should, what do you think you should do as the representative of this district to convince the FAA to change? Or should the FAA change those rules?
Well, in the first place, a member of Congress can influence the FAA by just writing to it and influencing it, as well as stirring up some other support from other members of Congress. But the main problem we have, I think Obama has decided to punish the Republican state of Arizona. And I don't approve of that kind of political punishment from politicians. You mentioned earlier, what could Obama do or what should he do about immigration? I think Obama has hurt the issue by, basically making the Republicans foam at the mouth. I think Obama should do everything that he can do, and I certainly approve of all of the concessions that have been made for the DREAM Act. I think the DREAM Act ought to be enacted in law immediately. But I think that the administration is the problem right now. Mr. Gallego would be a member of the president's party. He would support the president. If the president asked to go to war, he would probably vote to go to war.
Would you vote to go to war if the president said, let's do it?
Well, it depends what war.
What about airstrikes
Syria.
over Syria right
Yeah.
now? Are we doing the right thing in the Middle East?
We're striking Syria is not correct, and arming the Syrian rebels is not what we should be doing. It's very dangerous. I would have voted against the bill, especially if it had the amendment that gave us the ability to sell weapons to so-called moderate Syrian rebels. I would not have voted for that. It's very dangerous. Back to the FAA,
Yes.
though, I think, which is also very important right now. Next Gen, with the process they're going through, should have gone through public hearings. But that is also very representative of the small government bureaucratic mindset that some people are talking about, that they actually took away those public hearings. And that's what we have to protect. The public has a right to know what's happening in their area, not just where these airplanes are flying and taking off from, what pollutants are in the air. There is going to be a public hearing October 16th at City Hall, Phoenix City Hall, if you want to take part. There will be FAA administrators there. I have already contacted some FAA administrators as well as Department of Transportation people, and also to make sure to communicate a lot of the complaints about the community, because they are right. We should have had a public hearing, but the reason we didn't is because there's this general Republican-based idea that the government is too bureaucratic and takes too many steps to get anything done.
Republican.
FAA has nothing to do with being Democrat or Republican. First, they're Americans, they're an agency, they're appointed by the president, et cetera. You know that, Ted. So it doesn't have anything to do with that. What it has is
FAA
the
transportation
process
funding
was lost. The head of the FAA right now is probably an appointee from Democratic President Obama. So let's just leave it at that. But the point is, there's no public hearings, and that's the whole point of everything.
Which
when
is
you
small
have a
government
bill and
mentality.
you do something, everybody has a right to be heard, and that's my point.
That's a very small government mentality that passed because we're not having public hearings. So we have to make sure we guard against that.
He's just covering for the president. That's absolutely incorrect. We know that.
The last question here. A number of times, both of these gentlemen have said basically that you will be carrying water for President Obama, that you will not question and you will do as told. Respond, please.
No, I'm fairly independent-minded. I will agree with the president a lot. And we don't. And that's just going to happen. I mean, right now, for example, in terms of the Syrian war and the Iraq war, I probably would not have voted for this bill, especially if it had to do with the Syrian writer that said that we're going to sell weapons to the Syrian rebels. There's plenty of examples like that.
This is a lifetime job for a young man. And Mr. Gallego is going to be the most junior member of the minority party in the House of Representatives for the next decade. So his only hope is to hang on long enough for some of those people to die
right.
off.
You want to respond to that at all? We'll get to closing statements.
Look, I look forward to working there, and I'll work whatever I have to do to make sure that this community gets what it needs.
Each candidate will now give a 1-minute closing statement, and going in reverse order of the opening remarks, we start with Jose Peñalosa.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Jose Peñalosa, independent candidate for Congress, and hopefully I can earn your respect and vote on November 4th. My campaign is about to bring peace and security to this community, and that is done by immigration reform, economic development, and educational opportunities for our children. It's to bring back the American dream to our community and have the opportunities that my ancestors provided for me. To that extent, I'm for the Dreamers, I'm for immigration reform, I've always been that way, I've dedicated my life service to that. But to that extent, I'm willing to reach out and to my friends on the Republican side, my friends on the Democratic side, to take leadership of this issue and bring reform to this community. And to that extent, I'm very glad to have the support of the Republicans, especially Senator McCain, to get that done. If this community wants immigration reform, as Senator McCain has indicated, you need to go with me, the experienced person, to get this done. Thank you for the opportunity. Good night.
All right, thank you. And Ruben Gallego now with our next closing statement.
I'm proud to be the Democratic primary winner for Congressional District 7. I will be going to D.C. to work for our district. On the educational front, as the first person to go to college in my family, I know how important our investments in education are to continue the expansion of the American dream. As a first-generation American, seeing my family, my immigrant family, struggle to get here to this country and to succeed in this country, I understand what our family members are going through. And as a veteran of the Iraq War, I see all these wars that are occurring and will be guarding to make sure that our Marines, our sailors, our airmen, and our Army people, our soldiers, are sent with the proper equipment and to wars that are at least justifiable. It is my pleasure to work across the aisle, but more importantly, with our community to assure that we have proper representation in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our final closing statement now from Joe Cobb.
Ted, thank you very much for having me on. I think the major issue in this campaign is the immigration issue, but the war issue is a very strong second. I'm the Libertarian candidate, so that means that I fundamentally believe in individual rights, individual freedom, human dignity, and the free market. I want to help Arizona grow. I want to help our district grow. I want to see America become a more prosperous and free country. The main thing that is strangling American business right now and dooming the future of Social Security is the problem of not enough young workers. The baby boomers came along, and then they didn't have enough children. The whole Social Security Ponzi scheme requires more young workers. Let them in. Let them in. We need them, after all. I am concerned that President Obama is going to lead us into war. I'm very opposed to that, and I think that we need to stand up for it now, early on, and say we're not going to go there. Mr. Gallego, as the Democrat, is going to follow President Obama, and I regret that. Sorry.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for watching the special Vote 2014 debate featuring candidates for Congressional District 7. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. You have a great evening.